I'm actually putting together an event for the fall. And it's basically, how do our social, cultural environments and structures impact our personal and interpersonal relationships? Like, if I'm constantly living in fear or seeing violence or poverty or whatever other things, and I'm living in a high stress situation and that's affecting me on a hormonal level, on a cellular level, and all of these things, and then, I'm a new mom and I'm trying to breastfeed my child. How is that affecting the milk that I produce for my child? And it gets literally that deep. And until we can help people make that connection and see, because now I'm literally feeding my child, nourishing my child with all the stress, all the fear, all the anger, all the everything that I live with every day. And I'm giving a direct line to my child, and that's the first thing I'm nourishing their life with. And then they have to grow up on that. Do you understand that impacts them, and that impacts what kind of adult they become and how they perceive life and then how they move forward? Like, that's a thing. And I think if we can help people really realize that, it will change the way we begin to digest information in the world around us. And one of the things I have to do, and this kind of goes back to the conversation we were having earlier about me being able to serve from my overflow, is making sure that I keep myself pure, for lack of a better word, in terms of the things that I take in, or just aware, right? Because on some level, if you are on social media, or if you watch television, or if you look out of your window, depending on where you spend time socially, it can be difficult to avoid some of the images and portrayals of people and things. And what I remind myself is that it's not my work to do for them. My work is to introduce them to what is happening, make them aware of it, and say, here's how this impacts this, and here's how these things are connected, and here's how this is showing up. And, based on whatever scenarios and different things that they may be experiencing and sharing with me, I get to ask them questions. Was there a better way that you could have done that? Or how do you think this impacts that? Remember when you told me this story about this thing happening? Do you see how that impacted your decision that you made here and how you keep creating these certain situations? And I help them see how their environment is influencing their mind and then the decisions they make in their personal and interpersonal lives and relationships. And then it becomes their responsibility to do that work. And I have to be very, very careful about service and being compassionate without feeling obligated or responsible for them, the people that I serve. That's like a super thin line. But that's a lot of the work that I do in my quiet time. How much of this can I help them with? And how much of this is solely between them and God, whoever their God may be, and that's a large part of the work that I have to do, because it does get very personal. People begin to trust me with very deep things, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I can create an environment where they can say things that they may not have ever had a chance to say, and heal from things that they may not have ever had a chance to heal from. But I have to be careful not to become responsible for that and for them in that, outside of making them aware of how it keeps showing up, if that's the case. A part of the love that we have for each other is that we have to have respect and faith for and in people's journeys. Not everybody is in a space where they're ready for that. And so I understand, even as a personal trainer from the business perspective, particularly in LA, which we're saturated with trainers and all kinds of things that are going on, I understand that if you come to me, you're ready for a whole different kind of work. I don't get people who just want to get a six-pack real quick. I don't get those people. I get the people who, and even if they didn't know it when they walked through them doors, eventually they get to the point where they're like, oh, I'm trying to do some real life work in here. Like, I'm trying to be brand new. And so when I lose clients or people keep telling me, I'm going to come, and they never show up, I don't feel any type of way. I know that you're just not ready yet. You're not there. And you're not wrong or bad. Everybody has their journey, and everybody arrives at where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. So if you're not ready to hear about your Pepsi, that's fine. That's okay. But when you are, I got you. And that's it. I'm not going to force feed you, because I don't want you to feel guilty. about what you're doing. I just want you to understand what you're doing and then do with that information what you will. But I'm not here to make you feel like something is wrong with you, because I got my stuff too. So just because I know something about this area doesn't mean I get to look at you for not knowing something when somebody can look at me and say, oh, but you got. So no, we're not playing that game, because I don't want, nope. I'll get there when I'm supposed to get there, and you'll get there when you're supposed to get there, and that's how that's gonna go. Like we gonna honor each other's journeys in that way. Oh gosh, that is a great question, actually. And so it depends. Like anyone else, I set goals. I think people have this misconception that because I'm a fitness person, trainer, an athlete, and all of the above, that it's just easy for me. And on some days it is, but like anyone else, there are days when I'm not feeling it either. But it depends. Sometimes I'm in a season where I have very specific goals, and so I'll be reminded of my goals, and I'll understand that it's just important for me to be consistent in order for me to reach those goals. Some days it's just a reminder that, I have to be the example for the people that I am, telling to push themselves beyond whatever it is. Some days it is a matter of me just saying, you know what, I have been sitting at this desk all day, do administrative work. I have to get up because I talk to my clients who work 9 to 5s, and I tell them how important it is to take, workout breaks throughout the day. And so again, practice what you preach. And then some days I say, you know what, I'm tired, I don't feel like it, and I don't do it. And that's just the truth. And that's okay. It's okay to not work out, and you don't need to feel guilty about it, and you don't need to feel like the world is over, because you're not going to get healthy in one workout, and you're not going to get unhealthy if you skip one workout. That's not how it goes. So we have to also, in the mind-body connection, make sure that we're creating a balanced and a very realistic perspective about how to approach this. I always say to my clients, make it make sense. Make it make sense for your life. So if it makes sense for you to get up early and do the workout, then do that. If it makes sense for you to do it late at night, then do that. It has to make sense for who you are and the life that you live if you're going to be consistent. It can't be based on my schedule, because that may not work for you. And so, if it makes sense for you, you're more likely to be committed to it, and you're more likely to be consistent, and you're more likely to then see results.
Thank you for watching A Wise Way. Subscribe to stay updated, share to pass the knowledge, or view our other videos on the left.